So in last video I have talked about the long and short appoggiatura. It's really a small element, a small issue within the ornamentation system of, for instance, Leopold Mozart. But we have seen in that video, I will link it here in the video as well. You can check it out if you haven't seen it already, how big of an influence the understanding or the interpretation of the ornaments are. And certainly in case of these short or long appoggiatura, the influence and the is really immense. So in that video also I spoke about having the facts and the interpretation of the facts, and the facts are really important. It's difficult, it's two-dimensional information that we need to present or need to have to add a context to that, make it three-dimensional, make it something of our daily life, and it's always a kind of duality between having the facts, interpreting the facts, making them your own, adding your own context to that, and then converting that to your performance, and in fact making those facts really your own, and going back from your performance, from a kind of taste or habit you develop based on that, going back to the facts to check if things stay in balance. It's a really difficult thing, a challenge, but some of the things that I find really fascinating, because going back to the facts, maybe after some months, some years, often changes your opinion, your way of playing, the perspective from which you are seeing the things. And that's of course one of the most fascinating things to do with music, because experimenting is free of any charge. It doesn't cost money, it costs only your time, and it gives you wonderful results, not instantly but over time. Anyway, I was talking in that video on a summary of the ornamentation system of Leopold Mozart that I was working on, and it was ready minutes before that video launched. And so here it is. I can present it to you. It's a 40-page summary of chapter 9, 10 and 11. You can download this as an ebook. I have printed it, as I do with all digital books that I find interesting. I want to have it on my bookshelf, so you can read it from your tablet computer or your Kindle or whatever device you're using, or just your desktop, but you can print it as well anyway. So one of the things that in those early sources, 18th century sources, is really missing is a kind of structure that we expect today, that we can grab the book from the bookshelf and just look something up very fast as we would like it today. That's not always the case in those days, and certainly with Leopold Mozart, this is a copy of his 1787 edition. It's all there, but it's jumping back and forth, and it's not written in a way we would like to write today. So what I often do is make a summary for myself, and in this time I thought, why not sharing that for you? So I have prepared an edition which gives you, at the beginning, maybe the most important thing, an oversight of all the ornaments that Leopold Mozart is talking about, and then you get a preface from my hand, and in bullet point format you find we go through chapters 9, 10, 11 from his book. So, and this book can be purchased. Actually, you can find a link in the description box for $4.99, and for that money you get lifelong access to any updates, which is important, because even making a summary of something is a first way of making an interpretation. But if you're not familiar with those original sources, if you're not reading German, or just want to have this next to your original edition, or this is your first time, or maybe your first time that you would like to dive into those original sources, it might be a very good step for you to begin with. There is no, if you just want to check it out, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. It all sounds awfully commercial, but the bottom line of this is that going back to the facts is very important, maybe essential, and it is really very refreshing as well to do. Remember this, and that's the way I always look to that. What Leopold Mozart wrote here, which is probably of big influence of young Mozart. He was his teacher, remember? So this is the atmosphere, this is the context in which young Mozart grew up. This was his teaching guide as a musician. But what you read here, and in 18th century sources or in any early source, came directly out of the pen of our 18th century colleagues. So imagine that Leopold Mozart would speak to us in the way he writes. That would be fascinating, but I always enter those sources in this way. I read them as if those people are speaking to me, so it's really fascinating to do. It won't change your playing overnight, but it will change your way you approach the music, and it changes your perspective anyway, even sometimes without knowing. So that was it for today's video. I just wanted to give this work a little bit of attention. It really cost me a lot of time. It was fun to prepare, but sometimes annoying as well, because going through this book step by step is really time consuming. So anyway, hope you liked it. If you have updates or suggestions from me, don't hesitate to send them to me. I will include them in next updates, next editions, and with your name, of course, as well, if you point something out that I need to change. If this is your first time here on Authentic Sound, I would like to have you subscribe. We have regular videos like this, maybe not talking about ebooks that I've made, but on music and topics that goes into the interpretation. We try to connect Bach to Beethoven. I believe there is a connection, and the influence of the notation system on Beethoven, if you consider that of Bach, is really huge and a really fun journey to follow. There is a notification system. There's a bell icon next to the subscription button. If you hit that, you can set your notification system as you'd like. Might be interesting for the live streams. We have several of them a month, and we will increase that over the coming months. So anyway, if you do that, we'll see each other very soon again for new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time again. Bye.